Hi, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. I hope you're ready for it. One of the things that I like to do at the beginning of each year is to reflect back on things from the past year and some of the accomplishments or challenges or fun things that I did. It was an interesting year to reflect on. Not always great, but there were some challenges that I had to deal with my husband's health. If you don't know, my husband has dementia, and we're dealing with that, and it requires me to really stay centered and grounded and patient. And this studio time for me is my saving grace, and it's my sanity. And so it's nice to have you here with me, and it gives me a bit of an excuse to be here. One thing that I do to help me reflect and help me stay grounded is it's kind of a form of journaling. I randomly write words. I like to do it in this form. I go around and around in this rectangle or whatever shape, whatever shape I'm dealing with. And I just write the words that are coming into my head. It helps me to release frustrations and angst and sadness and grief. I'm just kind of curious what you do. I know that this helps me, and maybe it would help you too. And here's a little book that I sometimes use too. This is if I only have a few little words to say because it's a tiny little book. This book is handmade. It's a book that a friend of mine gave me, a fellow co-worker when I used to work at the Ontario Crafts Council in Toronto. Her husband was Latvian, and they had visited Latvia, and this is a handmade book. And the pages and the paper are just so scrumptious. I use this sometimes if I don't have a lot of time and I just want to get something out. This page says, and it's legible, "Dear God, keep my heart grateful." It's working for the most part. Anyway, I'm just curious what you do to reflect on feelings and help you get through frustrations if you have them. Something else that I do, I've just begun to do this. This is from a course that I took with an artist named Colleen Terra. She's in Yardley, Pennsylvania, and a friend of mine, Michelle, and I went to a workshop that she did, and this wasn't part of the workshop, but I have since gotten to know her, and I took this workshop online from her. These are called Tiny Sacred Journals, and they're little booklets that just have random things in them. I cut things from magazines or, pieces of paper. God knows I've got a lot of stuff to draw from here in my studio. Pieces of paper, different supplies, different colorings on things or paint on things, and I put them in these little booklets and create a sacred journal. Sometimes it's random. It's always random, actually. Sometimes it's the meaning of the moment. I'll look at these later and go, I don't know what I was thinking then, but it was cathartic at the time. This is one that I did. It's got money in it. It's got texture. It's got some tape transfers. It doesn't have to be anything, anything pretty, obviously. Like the edges are all rough and, yeah. This says faith with some stitching. Sometimes I'll use my sewing machine and stitch around words or stitch around photographs. It's a nice way to get some thoughts and feelings out. This says see and eyes didn't see. And this pertains to my husband's dementia. Sometimes I saw things that were a little bit peculiar with his symptoms back when, but yet my eyes didn't see it. I thought it was just just the day that he was having. I didn't realize that it was the beginning of dementia. Anyway, this doesn't make sense is another thing that I wrote here, or cut out from a magazine. This doesn't make sense, and it so doesn't make sense so often. I just wanted to share some of those things with you. This one I'm making for my dad, or with thoughts of my dad. He was someone who worked with his hands a lot, and so there are references in here about wood and woodworking, and again, some of those random thoughts that I wrote down. I don't even know what I've said there, but I know it was about him. Quality. He was a man all about quality. And some pictures of him, and some pictures of the home that he lived in, and pictures of bark because he loved wood. He was a woodworker part-time. A hammer and nails because he was a handyman too and taught me well. That's a little reflection that I'm having and making at the beginning of this 2023, and I encourage you to do the same. And I have lots of things that are on the go that I will share in the upcoming weeks, and I look forward to hanging out with you and having you here with me. So thanks for being here, and we will see you again next week.